Okay, with the help of Hashem, I want to start. My goal is to speak about what Shlomo Zalman said and what HaRav Yitzchak said. But before I start with them, I want to ask a question. I want to elaborate to make an introduction. A guy owns wine. Is the wine Yayin Nesech? No. Only depends if he did Yayin Nesech. Ordinary wine of a goy. One second. If a goy was menasech yain, it's the koyves Avodah Zarah, it's also be'ano, shti, everything.
From the Torah.
From the Torah. If a goy owns wine, so mitzad it's not a sofek, it's a chashash. Mitzad the din Torah should be permitted. Permitted. Because the rabbis prohibit the hefza of stam yainam. All ordinary wine are prohibited if it's owned by goyim, and if a goy even touched Jewish wine, we also said it.
But for a different reason.
Yes, but first I want to explain the point. I want to enlighten the eyes to understand what is our starting point. So really, what will be if a goy takes water, takes mango juice, peach juice, and he pours it in front of Avodah Zarah? What will be to that water, to that drink, to that drink, juice?
Good question.
That is also l'choira, right?
L'chora.
No, I said l'choira. The Chazon Ish, one second. The Chazon Ish says that's the machloikes, the Rambam and the Ramban. Ramban. If going put into wine honey or se'oil or wheat or barley, so the Rambam brings down the Goyim and Mayrav, the people of the west, of the Maghreb, the west. They held that if the wine has honey or se'oil or barley or yeast, whatever se'oil means, so then the wine is permitted and we have choishes for stam yaino. And the Ramban and the Rosh screams and shout about it. And the Ramban's question is as follows. Who told you, Uman Leimalon, who's telling us that it's in the Rosh we learn together, everybody together. Man Leimalon, who's going to tell us that they don't menasech it? Maybe they didn't nisuch. Like we see, they're going to bring fruits, peiros, and b'noi shuach. B'noi shuach is a type of, trees, fruits.
Is the mice or the hefzer?
One second, I forgot. I want to enlighten us before we start the whole sugiya, that I said what's going on here. So what's the Rabban's kasha? Since we see the goyim also menasech and maki fruits, so therefore even wine with honey should be also. But the shaila is this is part of the gzeira of stam yainam or not? And I explain what do you mean the gzeira of stam yainam or not? Stam yainam is not is mitzad the chashash and the sofek. It's not a sofek yain nesech. It's chashash. We don't worry for mitzad din doraisa. It's only a gzeira of the rabbanon that they made the hefza also. But what will be if it won't be chachomim and it won't go on that? Stam yain will be mutar. Now that the chachom prohibits stam yain, if something is not yain, let's say assume wine with honey is not wine.
Okay.
Not yayin. Grape juice, orange juice.
Yayin Mevushal.
That's something you're going to say. That's going to jump to that. That's really the whole point.
It's a joke.
Yeah, it's not a joke. It's very serious.
No, because they say.
So first I want to explain really, so if a goy is menasech orange juice, he did an issue. Let's say today a goy is menasech an orange juice. He did an issue.
He did it.
What is
He did an issue for himself. Issue.
That's how he does it.
What? That's he does it with himself. He takes orange juice. He has a big orange juice vineyard, orchard, and he thanks his gods as Elilim. He pours orange juice to his gods.
They can do what they want.
You know what they want? So there'll be also maybe Tikroim Avodah Zarah.
What after? It's
The question now, the orange will be also b'shtia and anor or not? And especially if it's mine. If it's my orange juice and the guy just touches it in his mind, he's thinking of the Zarah, there's oyster or not.
Machlokus is a miklayunika.
Or is it Nika, he's maxik me, it's not his.
Oh, not even.
How can the oyster say it's not his? The point is, here, the Ramban is asking, and the Rambam is saying, when I have wine with honey, or wine with oil, so the Ramban says, we should worry, because since we see the goyim even bring fruits and no shuai. So how do you know that they don't do nisuch on this? But the question if this is wine is part of exer that when I don't know I'm oiser it, or it's not part of exer, I don't know I'm not it.
Why? But we also.
That's the shayla, which its point is not relevant. Unless you would say, this is the Chazon Ish, unless you say that as long the goy does a nisuch, even not on wine, also there will be isur, even drinking and on whatever he does.
Avodah Zarah is not also. Every Avodah Zarah is not also whatever to have an app, like whatever that is what's used for Avodah Zarah.
Depends which Avodah Zarah. Has to be tikoides. Has to be, it has arba avodos, avodos pnim, it's rules. There's shchita, there's nisuch, kitul, there's 4 avodos of pnim that we do in the Beis Hamikdash. That would oyser. Not every Avodah Zarah is oyser. To be b'shtia v'ano.
Bowing, throwing a stone.
Right. Okay, so the question is, really, when we talk about Yayin Mevushal, this is what the Chazon Ish says. Just, I don't know, I didn't see the Chazon Ish inside the quote, but what enlightened me is, when we talk about Yayin Mevushal, so really, there's 2 questions here. Is it called wine or not? In the name, it's wine or not? That's one shayla, and that should be the main shayla. Is it Yayin Mevushal or Yayin Stam? Where is it?
Well, unless it's in
On which box do I put it?
yeah, but unless it's in the mice or the masuba. If it's on the but if it's on the mice of cooking, then it's not allowed to. Is the basis of the halacha the mice of cooking or the thing you cook? This is a question. You have to prove which one it is. If it's on the wine, true, but if it's on the fire, it's not. It depends. If it's only the fire, then what you put in the fire, it's the
wine
yes
or
would
not
be no.
I
What
don't
liquid
understand
you?
what she's talking. I don't really
You
I
said
don't follow.
answer or not. Answer or not because the
No.
Is it yayin or not?
Is it yayin or not? When we know wine is also Yayin Mevushal is mutar, then I need to know this it belongs to the group of wine or Yayin Mevushal. Where does it
So
belong
what
to?
makes it? What makes it? Different?
That's what could be part of the question. What makes it Yayin Mevushal? What makes wine a wine?
Or what makes the make
What would be-
make mavusha?
What?
That what makes mavusha? Not just what makes wine.
What makes Mevushal
Well,
Mevushal?
that's a different
And what
question.
makes wine wine?
It's a different
And I need to
question.
know where I put it.
It depends which one you hold.
One second. And then there's another point which we see they speak about. If does the goyim do nisuch on this type of bishul of pasteurization, which is our subject? They do nisuch on it or not? But if it's not wine,
This type of wine.
and let's say it's not wine. It's not going to get that of wine.
They won't do it.
No.
Well, if they do it, they would do it.
Even if they do, and it's not wine,
That is true.
so it's not an isur. It's not part of the gzeira because it's not part of isur. So a person maybe did an isur for himself. Maybe the goy did. Maybe he did. Maybe there's no reference in himself. Him and his God, but don't do with us.
Right.
Orange juice.
It's like orange juice. Nothing. All right, here. Again. So really, there's not really two questions. Only one question: is it wine or is Yayin Mevushal? But to say if they're menasech or not is not relevant. Because if it's not wine, what do I care if it's menasech? It doesn't make a difference. It's like orange juice. Doesn't make a difference.
But you can drink it.
Good, very good. So let's go back to what Rav Shlomo Zalman says. I want to glance through, with the help of Hashem, all the points he says. Some of I would read, because it's a long tshuva, very long tshuva. And we're going to talk about point by point, B'ezrat Hashem, with the help of Hashem. And I would say what I think. During the week I did it, I went through the whole week, we went through the whole tshuva, even if we didn't finish. In 1 week we didn't finish the whole tshuva. It's a long tshuva. But he says a few major points. I want to talk about those points, and we'll talk about maybe Rav Yashi's points. Then we'll try to get to a conclusion. This is what we wanted to do. I really also wanted to speak about beer, drinking other drinks. That I saw last night. I saw, it was last night? 2 nights ago, I don't remember anymore. 2 nights ago, not last night. Can you drink coffee in a coffee house? By going. What? Everybody does. My father did. Or my father. Can you drink beer in a restaurant? Of going. I have my own table. Can I drink beer? One of the things which I wanted to speak about. I saw that Ben Ish Chai brings down that it was a custom of all the Jews to drink coffee in a coffee house amongst the goyim. There's no worry of chassos, only mashka meshachir. But they bring down that machmir Torah bracha, some kind of, they want to solve because it brings together people. But the Maisa, I know from my father, and the Maisa he did, drank coffee, went with him many places, tea, coffee. We drank, we went through the country, the world.
If you can go to the bathroom.
Especially because when you're traveling, it's aray. It's not kavuas, there's no chashash of chasnos because you're passing by through the city, not staying there. It's not really a chashash. Be'etzim, can I buy beer in a restaurant? In a restaurant, they sell coffee, tea, they have meals. It's not a discotheque bar. It's not a place of pritzus.
Yeah, but they sell non-kosher food, so.
Then they sell non-kosher food.
So, but they say that drink, so it's, maybe it's okay.
Okay, can I use the cups? There's a lot of parts to
Well,
it.
there's a better.
Glass cups, etc.
There's money side.
But we're talking about inside as far as beer. Can I drink beer? Simple beer. When the restaurant of going, can I drink coffee? So coffee, Lamaisa, some people say be strict, Yerushalayim should be strict, but Lamaisa, the minhag of the oilam, and Talmid Chacham, especially when they travel, they do drink coffee in coffee houses. You just have to make sure. Mitzat kashrus, that the vessels, etc. How to make this? It should be espresso. It should not be with steam, and the steam has to be cold, and not milk. That milk they just announced was all over the world. We're able to go to Starbucks and buy coffee, iced coffee from milk of soya milk. For soya milk, you only can make soya milk from soya and water. Cannot make it. There's no synthetic in other ways. So all the chashas they don't put anything else. So a lot of Jews around the world went to Starbucks and ate iced coffee with soya milk, and you're allowed. And I did it myself. But recently, a few weeks ago, somebody told me that they changed. Starbucks announced they're not selling anymore soya, yes. So it's finished, the story. It's time to go buy coffee at Starbucks you cool without any milk. Make sure the vessels are kosher.
They have halachah.
Okay, HaRav, we didn't, that's our next sugiya. Bezrat Hashem in Elul, we're going to learn the laws of the sugiya of Gvinot Akum and Chalav Akum. And Bishul Akum. Those 3 sugiyas we want to conquer before we finish Masechet Avodah Zarah. Those are 3 major sugiyas. Gvinot Akum, Chalav Akum, and Bishul Akum.
And Kiddushin only in the winter's month?
What?
Kiddushin
Until the beginning of the winter's month. And in Hanukkah, we're going to turn to Kiddushin. I don't believe we would finish all those sugis before then. Number 1. Number 2 is, I also want enough time to people to finish the whole Masechta. A lot of the people are doing the kiyas in the Masechta.
Really?
Yes. All the boys in the yeshiva are doing the kiyas?
The kids?
Yes.
What's that?
Learning quickly the Masechta? No. But Yosef does. Some other boys do. You do, Aaron. And Bezrat Hashem, according to my calculation, they follow what we have. They will finish around Hanukkah the whole 70 pages of it. 4 times. 4 times. 4 times, yes, 4 times. You're doing 4 times, right? 4 times. That's the idea. To review it, to know it, takes time. So by Hanukkah time, you can finish all of it, the Zohar 4 times, and learn the 7-8 major sugyas which nogia halachah l'maaseh, especially for non-Israeli Jews, or for Jews that travel. It's very common. Chalav akum, ice cream, afkata, cheese, cottage cheese, yogurt. There's a lot of different chilukim and details. Unbelievable. Yeah, we're going to get to it.
3,800 shekels. Because 76 לחלק ל4, זה יוצא 200 שקל, זה הרבה כסף.
3,000. The yeshiva pays every bochur that learns the whole Masechet 4 times, 3,000.
600. 3,800. I did
3,800 shekels.
76 page לחלק ל4.
חלק ל4 כפול 200.
כפול 200, 300.
Yes, almost 4,000 shekels. The yeshiva pays every bochur. And there's a lot of bochurim are doing it. There's a lot of bochurim we pay every week.
Wow.
Maybe 6,000, 5,000 shekels a week the yeshiva pays. Bochurim, a lot of bochurim that change their lives because they become connected to the Masechet, they know what they're reviewing. So it's very important. Anyhow, let's go back to us. Our subject is Yayin Mevushal. What is Pistul? Pasteurization, where does it belong to? Under which category we put Pistul? That's the subject matter. Okay. Nafkamina, if a goy touches it, right? If I sold it to a goy, can I drink it with a goy? Can I drink pasteurization with a goy?
Yes.
Who's one? His or yours?
What?
Moshe Feinstein said yes.
That you can drink it with a goy?
Pasteurized?
Yes, pasteurized wine.
They say pasteurized at 80 to 90 degrees, he said.
Whose one is it?
What we said, house? What?
In the house of the Jew?
Oh, that's the point.
But no saying.
You say right away, yes.
But no saying.
The answer is depends where you're drinking it. To drink pasteurized wine in the mesiba of going, you're not allowed. In his house, you're not allowed. In your house, or majority are Jews, mesiba majority are Jews, you're allowed.
What about if they're going to
Same thing as beer.
no daughters?
It's the same law of beer. Yayin Mevushal is not worse than beer. Can I drink beer? Can I drink beer with goyim? In your house, yeah, depends. That's the answer. In your house, yes.
What about if the guy has no daughters?
I'll give my proof. He has a cousin, nephew, who knows? Neighbors.
If all of them are ugly, then what?
All of them are ugly. That's the reality of all of them. That's
Nowadays,
the creation of Hashem. Akolponi, the point is, in Ilchos of Sheikha, beer, so Yayin Mevushal is not worse than beer. It's not better than beer. It's not worse than beer. And therefore, you're not allowed to drink pasteurized wine in the goy home like beer. You cannot be drinking in his house. You cannot drink it in your house. The majority are goy. And mesibas goy
It
again.
has nothing to do with pasteurization. It has to do with the fact that you're
That is alcohol in the wine. Although it doesn't have the din yain, the chazal will oiseret as ba'ano and shtia, but still is not worse than beer. Now, where's the Maseches HaMashachim? There's a problem of marrying the daughters.
And
what did the Rosh ask? Although is Yayin Mevushal is not Din Stam Yaino, but there's a problem of daughters. So he answered, there's no problem. This goes to Rabbanon. That as far as the Gzeir of Talmid Shammai ve'Hillel. But what about the Gzeir of the Amoroi much later? That will go on Sheikhar and beer. That any drink that makes you shikr, that has alcohol in it, you don't drink b'mesibas goyim or in goyish home, only mesibah of Jews or Jewish home.
Okay.
So Pastor Rosai is not worse than that. The kula, come to everyone, you cannot drink b'mesibas goyim. That's right. When we talk about maga goy, our subject is pasteurization from maga goy. A goy touching maga goy. That's the din stam yenom and maga goy. That's our subject. But it's definitely, and there's another whole subject is of if it has alcohol. Now I'm not talking about grape juice. If there's alcohol in it, so therefore there's a problem of shichus and chasnus. Married the daughters. What will happen? Even grape juice, I don't know. Even grape juice, I don't know. That there's no alcohol at all. I don't know what will be the deal. What will be the deal?
Coca-Cola.
No, Coca-Cola you're allowed to drink.
You're allowed to go to
You're allowed to drink in a non-Jewish home. Coca-Cola. You're allowed to drink in tapuchi. You have all those things.
Rabbi.
Yes.
Why? Why should you be allowed?
We used to drink coffee by Bazian.
What? Bazian, yes.
Bazian, we drank coffee.
Coffee. My father used to do that all the time. I went with him all around the world and he drank coffee and tea. He told me how to drink. There's ways you cannot drink with cheres. You only can drink with glass or plastic. What it is to make sure it's clean. Whatever, there's the rules and regulations as far as kashrus, but it's up the drink itself. So now we talk, our subject is wine that's pasteurized, reference to stam yenom and magahu. That's our subject. So now comes Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach and he says, I would say altogether maybe 5 points, 5 major points. I want to go over through his points and his proof and to see what the simple svara is. But before I will go through, one of the rabbis, he and the Israelis told me, Rabbi, why are you working so hard? Why are you sweating? The mais is a machloikes achronim, and sofek the rabbanon, the kula. So what do you have to chime me? What do you make us crazy? I said,
No, kein doraisa. Ramban says.
But he says sofek maga, sofek stam yeino. What is the kula? So one second. We don't say you can't do wrong. We might. Yes, it's a clear halachah. So I told him like this. It was a rabbi. This I heard from Rabbi Deri. Zechet Tzadik because he's really nishmasem. He said it was a rabbi was requested for some big city. So one guy said, "I'm going to be the rabbi. No problem. Whatever they ask me, I know." Says what? He said, "Ask me." He said, "If it's everything is machloket. So if it's doraisa, so doraisa lechumah. If it's the Rabbanon, so the Rabbanon Kulam. So you just have to know the Rabbanon Doraisa. So the rabbi told him, you're right. Everything is a machloket, you're right. But there's no machloket of you and Amoritz. This rabbi used to say. Remember that? Those are the used to say that. So it's really nishmas. So here we need yeshiva, we want to know what's dikar halacha. You're right, mitzad, the bottom line is we can be very lenient as far as what? So with the Rabbanos, Machlokes, we be lenient. But we in the Beis Medrash, we have to know what's Dikar Halacha. And I want to prove what's Dikar Halacha. That's my goal. What's Dikar Halacha? So he starts by saying like this. He starts in the first paragraph. He brings down the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says, Yayin Mevushal Shalonu, Shenoga Boraku Muto. Our cooked wine that a goy touches per minute. Ume'emosai nikra mevushal, when it's called cooked, mishirtiach halesh, when it's boiling on the fire. And the Shach says, da'ainu she'ismait mimidosa dereticha. So we have 2 that will be reduced from his measurement through the boiling.
Evaporation.
So is that considered as if it's changing, or is it just...
We have 2 indication la halakha. What is Yayin Mevushal? The Shulchan Aruch Bet Yosef says When it starts boiling, when it's being boiled on the fire.
What it means fire?
Fire means fire.
Fire means what?
I don't know.
Like a stove.
English, fire, esh in Hebrew.
Like a
Eish
stove,
means
like a stove.
eish, or means eish could be even
No,
shemesh.
No, not shemesh.
No.
Esh. Esh, but dafka not shemesh. Esh.
Not shemesh.
Esh, and not shemesh, and not ma'anot chamim,
And
not chamei Tveria. Esh is esh.
and edim.
I don't know.
Edim.
No, not yet. Don't jump the gun. Good. So now we have two points, two opinions. Not two opinions. Two statements of halachah. One is a besur, one is a shach. What is the determinant factor that makes yayin mevushal? The besur says cooked on a fire. When it's boiling, when it starts boiling on a fire. And the shach says when it starts reducing its measurements. Those are the two things which mention. However, he says, what?
The temperature, right? When it reduces the temperature, is that?
No.
Or reduce the substance.
This reduce the measurements,
Yeah.
the volume.
When it evaporates, yeah.
It means that the volume is being reduced through boiling.
Okay.
Now, what's the pshat of boiling on a fire? And what's the pshat? What moment is the miut of midah? Reducing the volume. What is the moment? So we have the Moshe Feinstein, which we learned last week in length. We went through the whole explanation of the Moshe Shabbos, those remember. And he says, fire and reducing is all the same time or one is before. Reticha, boiling means yatzoledes, which is about 45 degrees. And reducing the measurement is even 30 degrees or at least 45. But we don't need, actually, the little word of boiling means, whatever is the level of boiling, by what is 100, by 1 is what? 70, 80, 70, 90, 70, 90, 90, 80, 90. I don't need that. This is the Moshe Feinstein. Reb Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, he says the Moshe Feinstein is right because we have the Goy Vilna. Because the Goy Vilna, Al Shulchan Aruch, he quotes, what's the Mekoyer? What's the source of the Shulchan Aruch, which the Gonim and Rosh, Ramban and Ritva, that says that the measurement will be reduced? Not sorry. When it's being boiled on fire, the Mekoyer of this is Shabbos. Although in Shabbos is machlokes that by defrosting is cooking or not, but everybody will agree that cooking is by Yad Soledes. And since he brings the Mekoyer as Moga Shabbos, as the Goy Mevila brings down Mekoyer, so we see that he learned that Shabbos Sefer Atum Rash Barosh and Chapoisky is as a raya, as a Mekoyer, as a proof to this. Last week we learned, we brought the Bes Yosef, the Rizal used the word no sometime, he gave a reason. It's not a source, it's a reason. So we said it's a reasoning, it only shows you that you can follow the beginning of process. You don't have to have the food cooking for a long time until it totally evaporates from 15% alcohol goes to 0. I don't need a long time, I don't need a isabe like the Miri sees. There's enough ritichakas, that's what we learned the Rosh, and that's what we learned the raya. It's not a raya from Shabbos, it's the sinastam. But the Shlomo says, but I have a Goy Vilna. The Goy Vilna didn't learn that that's a raya, that's the Mekoyer. Ana Shulchan Aruch.
What he said, he said it is a right?
Yes, because he says, we're being like Goro, and we need the second line, the beginning of the Shlomo Zalman. Ubegira Goro, he brings the Mora Shabbos, etc. Umashma Ktsas, you can infer a little bit. Me say from this Goy Vilna, Ktsas means a little bit. Smash, you can infer a little bit from this Goy Vilna. The sogi, it's enough, the shiur shatzel in his boy, and the measurement of the him jumping back. The choshi, the kulam, the bishu, gomi on Shabbos. Since the Goy Vilna brings as a Mekoyer Shabbos. So when he says the word reticha, it has to be allegoric. Doesn't mean reticha like we call in our language. It means boiling. Boiling means boiling of Shabbos. And boiling bishu by Shabbos means yatzolevizman. Like the whole shtickle Torah we brought last week with Moshe Feinstein. But what's important is, if Shlomo Zalman starts with his king forward, king upon forward's point is, la halachah, we have the goyim. The goyim being a pshat in the Shulchan Aruch. He made it that's pshat la halachah. He made it la halacha when it says boiling means yatzolet. Oh. So what are you going to do with the shach? If the goyim Mivin is right in the Shulchan Aruch and the shach is on the Shulchan Aruch, so when the shach says min b'midos, it means or yatzolet is a little bit less. Before that, but not more. Good. But he brings down, we found in the Rishonim.
I didn't really understand what you said. Vino?
No. If the shach says mitmaret midato, which means his measurement went down, reduced.
That happens at Yatzoleres.
That's happened at Yatzoleres for a little bit before, but not later. Definitely not later.
It happens mamela.
Happens in later.
They're agreed.
But
They
yes,
agree. They agree.
yes.
Yeah.
He says, so we have the Shulchan Aruch, we have a shach, we have a goyim, which is the big man, tells us what pshat in the Shulchan Aruch. So for us, that's the halachah, the Ashkenazi, Rabbi Vilna, and that's the halachah, done deal. So Moshe Feinstein is right. Mitzad Shulchan Aruch. But what can we do? He says, I found many Rishonim that said not so. He found the Ozarua, and then he also found the Meiri, which we use the Meiri and Ozarua to relearn pshat in the Rosh, like the Beis Yosef, and like the Goyim in a different way, like we learned last week. So once you have the Goyim, the pshat in Shulchan Aruch, that's a big man, it's a done deal for him. And he brings, what can I do? I found many Rishonim that say that what? That cooking is boiling, because they talk about changing of taste. And nobody would say that the beginning of just yatzoleres for 45 degrees would change the taste. And it's not bishul yofet, definitely not. Or beginning of reducing by the eye, nobody would say that I can recognize the meter by the eye then.
No.
שנשתנה מדי קצת או הרבה, או שינוי טעם, and that you don't have. And definitely by real neticha, real boiling, which 90 degrees, or whatever it is, 80, 90 degrees. But he concludes, this is the language, it's being, the letters are being jumping out, stronger black letters, big and strong letters, to tell you this is the conclusion. However, I'm reading inside. Eliyot v'Shulchan Aruch posak. It says, good, we have the Meiri, we have the Ozarua, and we brought in the papers many more Rishonim. We have Rabbeinu Tam, we had Sefer HaMachriya, look in the papers. We have here Sefer Ayosh Rabbeinu Tam, Sefer Hatum in the language is Mashma, and we brought Ozarua to the Sabais, in the Loshen of the Ram, Riaz, Ritvo, Sefer HaMachriya, Meiri. All those Rishonim is mashma, not like he's saying yatzoleres bo, is mashma have to boil and even boil a long time. Yes?
I don't spend any money. It's already reviewed. This already says, who says it's called Bishul Gomer when it gets to the Yatzoleres bo? There's a problem here.
Yes.
By Shabbos, when you get water to Yatzoleres bo by a liquid, that's called Bishul Gomer. By a
Correct.
steak, it's not Bishul
Right,
Gomer.
right.
What is he talking about here? What's
Good. We spoke about it last week.
I understand.
We brought, during the week I spoke. I brought the Prima Godim, and it was like this. If I talk about water, wine, and oil, the heat of Yatzoleres was cooking. If I talk about Yavesh, a piece of meat,
It's Bishul
that's
Gomer.
Bishul Gomer, because the heat is the Bishul.
What?
The heat, the chom is the bishul. But if we talk about the goal of the chom is to change
It's the substance.
it's a substance to change it from raw meat to cooked that you can eat. So then you need a long period of time of reticha. Not reticha, you need a long time period of
I
reticha.
just don't understand. I don't understand the source of rule.
Exactly the point. You got the point. This is what we spoke in Spain last week. Or during the week, I don't remember my time, but I'm sorry. But it's like this. The machloikis is exactly what you're saying. When I'm talking about cooking and wine, what I'm talking about? I'm talking about putting heat into the wine, like bishul of mayim, dam and shemen. Dam, shemen, and mayim is also yayin. Or no, since I'm talking about yayin as far as yayin esek, so I'm talking changing the structure of the yayin. not putting heat to it. Now it's cold wine and hot wine. It's not cold water and hot water. That the hot water has value. The heat on its own, triviality is value. No, I'm talking about now the structure, the texture.
Uncooked wine to cooked wine.
The cooked wine. Cooked wine is put heat. Or you're talking about the cooking of the wine. That now the structure, the taste, the smell, the shame, the calories, whatever it is different. Is different. So you talk about that. So you not only begin, you need a long time of cooking until the taste changes. So then we see a machlokes. You need radish at the beginning of the process. So then, if that's the pshat, how do I perceive yayin? It's exactly the point. How do I perceive yayin? Perceive yayin like water and shem, like that the cooking is the heating in it,
Or like meat.
or like meat. So machlokes here. So comes the Shlomo Zavid says he doesn't mark it the way we marked. That's what we marked it last week. But he says, since the Shulchan Aruch said boiling on fire, and they're going to Vilna brought Maseches Shabbos to here, which Maseches Shabbos? A water, and of shemen and water, must be understood, what?
It's like water.
Like water. And you know about the putting the heat and not cooking the thing.
Not yovish.
Capish? It's a very big point what you said.
Heat.
And therefore, and those Rishonim that says you need to change the texture, they're not Allah. I don't care about them. True they are, there's such opinion, but they're not Allah for the Kedusha. Achayot v'ashulchan aruch posach, sinu paskin. The sagim shirtiach al ha'esh. Umoisofas hakohen mivim hakam mashma. De'ein tzirим klal she'izbad shel ad she'ala b'abuz. כמו שכוסף הגז הוא אבל פישו נשבע של המעט זמן מידוסון. He says, Lochen therefore, Rabim, many, Noagim Akastim, Loi Lakshosh Klal Magab, they don't worry at all when a guy touches meats anavim, if we stop, pasteurized wine, pasteurized grape juice. If a guy touches a real wine or grape juice, it means not that he cooked it in his house, it can be on the stay on the shelf for a long period of time. Grape juice, talking about real grape juice, that before the 3 days of the fermenting, you just squeezed it, it's still in the pit, you want to drink for it. When the guy touches yayin mikator, even before it ferments, it takes 3 days to ferment. Even before the 3 days of ferment, you can say both and you can say, and if a guy touches this also. Also, the question is, if the grape juice is pasteurized, means that they cooked it right away when it's before the 3 days of the fermenting. You already cooked it. So he says, the world, many are accustomed that they don't worry for Magagor, because it was cooked, it's done deal. Asher b'chtei limnoat sisa. And because in order to, they pasteurize to prevent fermenting. Number one. Number two, the gam yochel iskay, and it can have a long life shelf. Oisin pistil, they do the pasteurization. They boil the juice not less than 70 Celsius. It's considered like boiling on fire. The Mevushal is going to show me. This is one. He says, since I learned the Goyim Vilna, the Absolute is a cook of, that we're not talking about cooking the wine, we're talking about putting heat in the wine, that's cooking. So definitely, pasteurization has more than 70 Celsius. It's like boiling on fire.
It's badekuk.
Because it's vadai more than Yatzolet as well. But there's a reticha?
No.
Not a reticha. So,
He's not going to
we're moving right. You have from the internet, one second.
You need-
One second, I know that.
This boy is like a tichon.
You
Right.
need 90 for...
We brought here papers of the internet.
No bother.
I don't know, from AI, where do you got it from?
Yeah.
AI.
Gemini, Google.
Okay, that's on the internet.
Artificial.
Artificial intelligence, you can answer what you want.
Michelin seal.
Listen what they say.
So you don't have to listen.
We don't pass it, we're reading them at CSM. Listen, there's 3 types of pasteurization. One is between 63 and 68 Celsius for 30 minutes. One is 73 for 16 seconds. And one is 100 Celsius for a very short period of time, maybe 1 second.
What did it say?
Pasteurized
And right away afterwards, they reduce the heat. that machinery to cool off, and they reduce the heat very quickly. They shouldn't stay a long time. If it's 63, it shouldn't be more than 30 minutes. If it's 73, not more than 16 seconds. It'll be 17 seconds, will destroy the wine. So they do it exactly 16 seconds, and right away they bring cooling system to reduce it. And same thing is 100, if it was the top pasteurization is 100 Celsius, they do it for 1 second.
1 second, less than a minute.
1 second. The goal is to kill the germs, to have a long period of life shelf life, and shmiras ha'eichus, to be equalized. The whole structure of the texture of the wine is all equal. Not on the top is with sweet. Everything is one unit of what? Harmony of taste. Okay. This is the pasteurization. Now, before we continue on the next point, let's go back to what Shlomo Zalman says. Shlomo says that since pasteurization is more than 70, at least, which means it's for sure went over the Yatzoleres boil, says consider boiling of Shabbos. And if I need boiling, the literal meaning boiling, so I need 90 degrees. Only the high level of pasteurization, that's for 1 second, will be included of cooking wine in the heat of ireticha, right? But he's talking about when he says more than 70, he's talking about the quick pasteurization. That's for 16 seconds. That is above 70 means 73. The middle, the quick, there's normal, quick, and top.
But without boiling, not about more.
That's what we're going to speak now. 1 second. Let's go point by point. We'll mix up the people. The first thing is, he says, what is all this preface? Because he seems to be holding, if the Agdor of Reticha means Reticha, like the Ozahua, or like the Mihiri, right? That they say Reticha Babur, one Babur, many Babur. So pasteurization is only, the low one is only 63. And what?
Even 70 you won't get it.
Even 70, and 70 you don't have mobility. You have heat. So if that goes like the Yayin Mevushal, if Reticha doesn't mean Reticha, the literal meaning of Reticha, Reticha means Bishul of Shabbos. And Bishul of Shabbos of Mayim and Yayin and Dam. It's like also by Yayin is Bishul of Mayim and liquid is 45 degrees. So when I have 73, above 70 is Vadai Hatzoleres. So therefore I have the definition of cooking of Shabbos. He made that the world says pasteurization for sure as a definition of cooking of Shabbos.
It's overkill.
And even more, instead of 45 degrees, it's 73. Although you can get the Reticha, the little bit Reticha boiling, like the Meiri, and like the Ozahua, and Mihiri, the Peinutam, and many other Rishonim. That's in the papers here. Those are learned. No, he says, I don't care. The world, most of the world follow the halachah, and they're going to Vilna, and they learn the way that they have the glasses of the going to Vilna. We go there, and also Moshe Feinstein, and also HaRav Yitzchak. A lot of places, that's the way they learn. Reticha doesn't mean literally mean like the Mokanavor.
It's not Reticha Meleah.
Reticha Meleah is, Reticha means not boiling. Reticha means you have to learn. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. What? The Kula. But he wants to say it's not true. Shlomo Zalman wants to fight it. And he's one of the big machmirim in Stam Yeino Mangal. Him and HaRav Yitzchak. And what's the point he brings? So I want to go through the points he brings. Because there's I think 2 or 3 points we can argue with what he says. Okay, so let's read. The next 2 paragraphs are the most important ones. Then he adds more points. Beram, you see Beram? There's a 3rd paragraph. Beram, however. He says, I want to doubt this leniency with a couple of reasons. My poor knowledge. He says, when Yad Soledes Bo, or cooking with the cooking is the factor that make wine, cooked wine, to be permitted. That's only when I cook it in a traditional way. What's the traditional way to cook? Is BTU? No, real fire. But BTU is what? Is a measurement of heat. Another about heat and steam and microwave and lasers and vacuums.
Put a pot in the fire.
What steam?
You put a pot on
But yeah, real fire. You take wood and you fire and I cook food on a pot. של על האש, on fire. כך היו מבשלים גם בסייין. That's the way they cooked wine. So when the Chachamim talked about Yayin Mevushal, what wine they talking about? Eliyahu. What wine they talking about? Wine that is cooked with natural fire.
On top of his wood
A
stove.
traditional fire, top of wood.
His wood stove.
You have a wood stove? That's how you cook food? A wood fire to heat the house. But they cooked food on fire, on wood. No more fire. And that they used to cook wine. Oh, therefore, look what he says. וידוע אצלו שתכף עם תחילת הבישול, that's what we did experiment here. And he says it's clearly that when you start the cooking 30 degrees even, 30 Celsius, alcohol miyad, that already the alcohol evaporates. What's the proof? If you take a match, is what he says. If you light a match there, it becomes from fire to a flame. Nase shal eves, because the gas, as in it, alcohol, becomes like a flame. Kemo ba'avodah speed, when like you light speed, which is alcohol. That's proof what? That the steam already by 30 degrees is the steam of the alcohol. It's evaporated. What does it became? The evaporation was water, wine. Who says the taste changed? But if the alcohol already starts coming up by 30 degrees, means the strength of the wine, the fire, as Rashi says. Yayin boil, besides he wants to get the daughters, the fire starts reducing, right? By what? By 30 degrees. The Kamu understood should be because of this reason that the alcohol starts going out, that it's clearly understood that the taste of the wine starts changing. That's when you use natural fire.
What is going into the wine?
One second. It says natural fire. He follows the good. He's saying the going to Vilna's level of Yatzalenes or Bishul is by traditional Bishul. Mashen can be Zmanei rather nowadays. Apistu Naasa, the pasteurization is being done. Kshayayin v'amitz, when the wine and the juice and the toch tzinoot zchuim is inside closed tubes. Velochein einom legabei zeh tzichim shetel amino shapir. Even though I need that the volume, the measurement will be reduced. Be less. Shopping mistaber, nicely makes sense. The av should be glad even because of this. Shusogu mesug is totally locked, closed. Lo nechsa kruma yayin, there's nothing missing from the wine. Mikol mokom, however, mevushal, cooked, miu, however, ave, it is cooked. Kevon sins. The fact that it's not missing is only because she's a source that is locked. V'yevsha klal is totally satum. V'yevsha klal is not possible at all. Leo isiro to have any evaporation. He says, in our days, that they do pasteurization inside closed tubes. And therefore, I don't have the second reason of the halachah. The halachah says, cooked on fire, reducing the measurements.
Maybe that's only a
There's no reducing the measurements because it's closed tube.
Maybe it's only a siman. When it reduces, that means it's boiling.
What? Shafin Mevushal, he says, still, even though there's nothing missing, it's still called cooked. Because if it wasn't for the closed tubes, it would be cooked. It would be steaming. Aval mikol mokum, however, in any place.
It is.
Here, see, it looks like. Kevan she nechsa ma'amir v'akol yotza ma'ayan nisado. if the measurement and the alcohol went out and evaporated, it's known, behold, the shetam and the taste of the wine changed me'od very much. Therefore the goyim don't do nisuf in such wine. Rather, in our days, asher milvad she'atar lo mishtana bilal zeh, shesog whether the taste doesn't change because it's closed. They do make many tricks in the technology. They don't want to make any change on the wine to reduce the fire and the heat right away. Only 16 seconds, 1 second, whatever. They have different tricks. That none of the alcohol we burnt inside, none of the sugar we burnt inside. The Shamati Bimuch, I heard from a professional guy. The mass of the people, they cannot even recognize at all and differentiate any difference between pasteurization and unpasteurization. 1 second. He got a letter from a big rabbi in America, the Zela Sherman. B'yoysi v'dinat sofas v'sfarad. Be'ad yitzu yayin kasher nochachti. I was involved in kosher wine. I found out. Asher sham ein manichin they don't allow all those countries to pasteurize wine. Yan, they say, because asher chimu ma pistu af lerega. Even if the pasteurization 1 second, it does. Mafsid estam v'tam re'am meshubach b'yayin nitibo. It destroys the taste and the smell of meshubach, praiseworthy wine, is nature, from his nature. Through pasteurization, that taste and smell, natural smell, is being blemished and lost. They call it cooked wine. Anyone is custom b'yayin, anyone that drinks wine a lot, TV, natural, will recognize right away the cooking. All those professionals of the industry of wine, they don't permit open in any way the facility that pasteurize the wine. With this, the taste of the wine is being blemished. Those countries of Spain and France, and klali nobody pasteurizes. Unless it's kosher wine, that is being sent to America. So what do we get? We have here.
He agrees.
1 second. He brings a letter from a rabbi, and it says in those countries they don't do pasteurization, only kosher wine by sending it to America. But otherwise, they know that it destroys the wine. But he says, after I got this letter, he went around and he asked other people. Big 3 professionals, big in the industry, in this area. And 2 of them only told me, like we said, a normal person cannot recognize the difference. Reference to grape juice. One of them told me, that's his main profession, is to pasteurize grape juice. Shima pistu nice and so if you do the pasteurization exactly the way it's needed, a professional, I'm not able to feel any difference in the taste. Conclusion. Therefore, Choshmani, I think, Sheledina, Kaini, Mendoreinu, for the law, my words are true. Even though there is some little bit of difference, reference to Yayin has no meaning. Even if there's no difference, and even there is small difference, has no meaning for Yayin, for Stam Yeno. Even pasteurization belongs to Israel. The ends are called Yayin Mevushal. It's not called Mevushal. That's mentioned in the Shas Poiskim. If so, Minayin Lonu Lahokel. How can we? Where's for us a reasoning to be lenient? When the Goy touches it. Stop. So what does the Flemers Adonai says? He's saying, although we have the Goy Mevilna that learns that cook means very low cook, 45 degrees, Yatzoleh as well. And pasteurization for sure reaches the heat. But pasteurization doesn't reach the second measurement of cooking on fire. Doesn't reach the reducing of volume. Number two, doesn't reach, and the goal of reducing the volume of the shock is to change the taste. So naturally, when you heat, Yatzol is boiling even before 30 degrees, starts evaporating. And so it's starting to change the taste. Because when alcohol evaporates, if you put it on a match, it will become flame. So when the alcohol changes, the taste changes. So when the Shulchan Aruch says, and the Shach says changing the volume, that's in a normal way of cooking on fire. But when we do it on tubes and closed tubes, it doesn't reduce the volume. Number two, there's no change of taste.
Small amount.
Right?
For an
So although mitzad the heat of fire, I reached the level of heat. So the Shulchan Aruch, fire the heat, I reach. He says no. That's why the Shach added reducing the measurement. Because when the Shulchan Aruch meant heat on fire, he meant the natural heat. And the natural heat, you have also evaporation. So he may also change the taste. So that's what it means when the Shach says reducing the volume. He means to say when the Shulchan Aruch means on fire, and fire means 45 degrees, it means natural fire, there's also evaporation. So it's a change of taste, or the beginning of process of changing a change. But when it's a closed tube, even though it has the heat of 70 degrees, means above the heat of Yatzolet as well. But still, it doesn't do the goal, because it doesn't change the taste, it doesn't change the volume, although there's some change, but that change doesn't mean, there's no meaning. This is the conclusion, and he says, therefore I don't know how we can be lenient on pasteurizing, to say it's considered cool. Now there's few others we're going to ask on the Shlomo Zalman.
When we say
Yes,
when we say that Yatzol doesn't change the taste, Yatzol.
If it starts to evaporate, it's a beginning. It means if the alcohol starts coming out, the beginning of changing a taste.
The reality is that Yatzol doesn't change the taste.
It's too small to change, right?
Like pastel?
Right. Good. So there's a few points we have to say. Number one is, there's a couple of points we want to argue here on Rav Shlomo Zalman in reality. We said yesterday in the week's shiur, we said that Eretz Yisrael became like France and Spain, or closely. There's a lot of wine, a lot of boutique wine, and you go to now tee up in big department stores of only wine, or any normal store, you look for wine, you see how many percentage of the wine pasteurized and how many are real wine. Used to be small minority. Kamel Mizrahi used to pasteurize the wine. That was the only company. Remember? 30 years ago. But today there's hundreds of companies.
That's true.
No.
No.
They don't, most of them don't do pasteurization.
It's not high class.
So I'm not talking about common, not common. That's the next point. I'm talking about now, he's saying the goal of the what Shulchan Aruch says, fire. Although the Yayin Mevushal says, he says, fire, and fire is Yatzoledes, but the goal of Yatzoledes by wine is starts evaporating, even before Yatzoledes, and that's what the Shach says, changing the measurement means the alcohol starts evaporating.
Changing the taste.
Changing the taste. So Yimele, by pasteurization, there's no change of taste. So number one, we're saying there is a change of taste, and small taste of it is valued. So if you pay more money for it, and you see over it for a dry wine, will pay 60 shekels or 35 shekels, and pasteurized or sweet or pasteurized wine, you pay 20 shekels, 25 shekels.
Yeah.
It's reality. So the exclusive wines are not the pasteurized wine. And people pay more money for it. That's number one. But number two, which is really the major question which I want to ask, that this Rabbi Abraham right away determined in the beginning. You're mixing boxes. In my opinion, with the help of Hashem, I think he's mixing boxes. Why? Because we brought those that said what? You need cook well. You need real that you can recognize a reducing of the volume. The Rosh says boiling on fire. So he brought the Yayin Mevushal boiling on fire means yatzoledes. So who talked about changing of taste? One second. Elamah, you talking about the beginning of the process of changing of taste. I don't need boiling.
Only have 10 yarachim.
At the beginning, some evaporation starts then. So the Avodah Zarah, as the Rashba says, the Goyim said reticha, and the Yerushalmi says reducing the volume. It's the same thing because it starts. The reticha starts the reducing of the volume. Buachas, okay. But he says buah. Let's say we learn like him says yatzoledes, gesundheit. But still, one second. But nobody would say that by yatzoledes, the natural yatzoledes will change of taste. If I would take fire, I'll take olive wood and I put wine on a pot and I start cooking the wine. When it reaches 45 degrees and I put a match to reflame.
And then you stop it right away.
And you stop it right away.
No change.
No change of taste. We don't need change of taste. So what he's talking about, that there's no change of taste, and even in pasteurization, and even if it's small, it's mine, it's not valuable. What is he saying? Must be what he's saying. He's saying that when I put it on fire, I have the beginning of the process, and the end will change the taste, and I don't need the end, I need the beginning. But when I follow the end, and the end stays with a small change, I can never reach more because that's the process. As you put on your close volume and you reduce it, and that's where it stays. Which means by fire, if I closed it, but if I didn't close it, it'll go on and on, it will change of taste.
For sure.
So I follow the beginning. But by pasteurization, one second. By pasteurization, when I pasteurize the wine, the end of this process is what? It's just to do the beginning and nothing more. That's the chol. So therefore he's saying there's no change of wine, no change of taste. And if there is, that's so serious. The chol, that's what he's saying. But the chol is mixing boxes. Because since I decide I follow the beginning, means I don't need the change of taste. That's what Kabbalah said going. They received from their forefathers, Pshat and Gemara, that Chachomim didn't give a gzeina on the object to make it chefza also. Of Yayin Mevushal, you know, if you also know, they didn't answer it when you have the beginning of the process of cooking, you might close it right away. So what I get now, the pasteurization, it's finished process, but it will never reach more. It's not worse that somebody in the time of the Gemara put on the fire and he took it off the fire when it was one boil or yatzoledes. There was no change of taste. We give it Yayin Mevushal, it's not part of the Gzeira. So it's in A and B. So when we talk about changing of taste, he said like this. The Old Zamora says change of taste. The minute he says it's a change of taste, right? And sure, no, we have the Yayin Mevushal, there's cooking and ticha. So we talk about change of taste. So number one, we said there is value of change of taste. People value. Number two, if you talk about the Shulchan Aruch, the Mevushal, you don't need beginning. So as long as some even change how much more it is a much more. Because I don't need the full process in the beginning. So if I have at the beginning and I have even small change of taste, it's enough.
Defeats the purpose. A small change of taste and a small evaporation of the alcohol defeats the purpose of B'Iyun Seihem. So what's the point? With someone else?
That's not true.
It is true.
Not true.
Not after it when it's.
How they have it?
No.
Because the Ravid and the Goyim hold that I don't need a long period of time of cooking. So the taste is too good. The Rosh says, there's two Gzerim Noisayim. Why Yayin Mevushal is mutar? Shmuel married a daughter. That's the next Rosh. And he says, Lo Shchiach. It's to come onto a side story. Because he holds you don't need a long time of boiling, just beginning. So beginning what? Boiling, hour boiling, yatzoledes, whatever you're going to say, put that on the side. The Rosh doesn't need change of taste. And that's the Shulchan Aruch. Or small, the beginning of process. So when you talk about change of taste or not, and that's value or no value. Number one, people do value today. Number two, look, we don't need change of taste. It's the beginning of a process. So also through pasteurization we have. You understand what I'm saying?
A pastor doesn't have 150, only has 70.
Number three.
There's only 70, doesn't have 50.
Oh. Number three is, this I want to speak about. This is not my svara. I saw this svara from HaRav Yitzchak, but I want to shove it here. Everybody told me that depends on the altitude where you cook the wine. In the time of the Gemara, when you hear this in the time of the Gemara, if I cook in the valley of Babylon, heard about the valley of Babylon? Babel. Right? In the rivers of Babylon, if I cook their wine, how much Celsius do I need, heat that I need to put in, or what level of heat the wine needs to go in order to be called Mevushal? What?
If it evaporates.
Let's say you have Mevushal, you have to let us 45 degrees, okay? Or Reticha is 90. I come to Mount Zion, Har Zion, or go to Hebron, to Meitzah, 940 meters above the sea level. How much there I need degrees to heat the wine, to stop bubbling the wine?
10 degrees. 10.
Could be even 10 Celsius less. If you go to Costco, you know where's Costco? Peru, next to the Machu Picchu. Costco. You were there? Yes. Costco. I went there. I started my head was spinning. Was not enough. Couldn't breathe. Right. And then if Shabbos, I was there. Then if Shabbos. You need special special pills. My blood pressure was going down. It was very scary. And I was there stuck for Shabbos. I couldn't run away from the city. I decided I went out to Michal Shabbos to go down the mountain. What?
Texas. So I'm walking around, and all of a sudden I come back and I come back. We're in the Rocky Mountains here. We're 2 miles up.
Right. All my bambas, I had bamba for my kids. Boom, they blew up.
So you need a lower temperature or higher?
Higher. You know how it starts blowing because the pressure's less.
So you need a higher temperature?
So it blows.
A lower temperature?
Yes.
It boils at a lower temperature?
Yes, that's the point. See, even for the time of the Gemara, one second, I want to make the point out. Even for the time of the Gemara, one second. If time of the Gemara, I don't need so much heat to cook wine, to evaporate, to change the taste of wine. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I need a change of taste. Okay, beginning of change of taste. What is the cutting point of beginning of change of taste in Costco or in Tel Aviv? Could be 10 or 20 degrees different, I don't know. But definitely a lot of difference. Costco for sure. In Costco you need, let's say, 60 degrees. 7, I don't know much lower, much less. And what's the point of Louis Pasteur you told me? That the whole idea of close to is does like a high mountain.
So the same?
Yes. What? What it does, when it's close, and then the air pressure together with the heat, it creates a situation as if you're in a high mountain, and I don't need so much heat to produce the changing of the molecule and evaporation. That's really the trick is. So really what is I'm not a chemist, I know nothing about it, that's what they told me.
Physicist.
I didn't learn, I'm not a physicist, I'm a chemist, I'm a Torah man, that's all. But it doesn't matter, the point is, my understanding is, that what really pasteurization does is as if you're going to a high mountain. A very high mountain. So that's why, which means, according to this, it's not relevant.
Temperature is not relevant.
Exactly.
They boil
temperature, when the Shlomo says it's at least above 73, and it reaches the Reticha, and he defines Reticha, so it works Swiss hard to learn that Reticha means, Reticha according to the game, going to real means Yatzoleres, but I have to come onto that. Why do I have to come onto that?
You should have Reticha at 60.
Because it depends where you are in the world, even the time of the Gemara. I'm not talking about how much heat, I'm talking about the result, taste, bubbling, Yatzoleres, the hand jumps back.
Shulchan Aruch did not say taste. Shulchan Aruch did not say taste, only said cooking.
Oh, So we're talking about cooking on Shabbos, bubbling.
You don't know what that bubbling is cooking either. That's one of the Rishonim. That's
Okay,
the word itself.
good.
The goy?
The goyim say heticha.
Rabbi, in that case, what matters then? If it's not,
What?
If the temperature doesn't matter, then what matters then?
It's pressure plus temperature.
Pressure meaning what exactly? Like
They put them in closed tubes.
Air
So
pressure.
you have to put air pressure together with the heat. I don't have to come on to a very high heat to break the wine. Like if I go to a high mountain, naturally the altitude, the Torah of HaShem, the whatever, all those things in the air is missing. And Mimele, to break down the wine to its parts and to change the texture in much lower degrees. Right?
Should we go on Mount Everest then?
What?
Should we go on Mount Everest at the top of
If you go on top of Mount Everest, you can get on 70 degrees the same result on the top on Babylon for 100 degrees that is bubbling. Same result, which means as if it's bubbling. We know, maybe it starts bubbling then already then. I don't know. I don't know the reality in a high mountain, but as far as breaking the retiel is the same. So therefore, one second, I want to say a point. So therefore, what does all be? If I would say, Reticha means the way we learned. Reticha means Reticha. And the goal of the Goyim wanted to say that I don't need like the meiri or the opinion, I don't need long period of time of cooking. As soon as it starts reducing the volume to a third, to become sticky, right, as the meiri says, to the few opinion, or cook a long time. No, I just need the beginning. But the beginning of what? Of boiling. Does the lower pasteurization with 63 degrees will be considered cooking? Yes. Because I don't care about the degrees. I care about the results. Because the proof of the pudding will be, if I go to a high mountain in the time of the Gemara, we're talking about the result. The result is Yehin jumps back. Those are results. Taste, texture, those are the results. Talk about what's regular results. So therefore, pasteurization, whatever it does, even if it's 63 degrees, it's definitely like Reticha. That's what's that point. Because he's saying the warrior position is definitely more than 73, and since the definition of Reticha means Yatzoleves, so it's for sure above that. No. Even Reticha means Reticha, pasteurization will produce Reticha, because I have the result of the Reticha. The only thing is, I don't have big change of taste and volume.
I want to ask one
Yes.
question. Where does this business of taste come in? Is meat volume equal to taste?
That's what he learns. This is the Muslim's argument.
Why-
He learns what's the point of,
Why do you have to say that?
because he wants to say his main point
No,
is,
but who says that's true?
that's what we said, that's what's the major
It's
point.
meat of volume,
I agree.
not taste.
One of the major points we argue on the Muslim's argument is that we're mixing boxes. Who says, I don't need change of taste, I need the beginning of the process. I don't need change of taste. The other Yisraelim will change of taste in reality. I don't need.
So he's following one reason, not another.
But he knocked out them. He started by saying,
Oh, he's not.
he started by saying, you know, it's like one change of taste is off the halachah. When you get tikka, like the girl, the Atzoledes. And he said, like Atzoledes, but it starts to evaporate even before Atzoledes. And the goal, and then he makes a statement. The goal of reducing the measurements is taste. And therefore, there's no change of taste. So we say, first of all, it is not enough value. No person doesn't recognize. That's his whole point.
That's the end. What about the beginning? You might have it change.
He says it's a little bit of
So
change,
that's amazing.
but he says for him it's not enough.
He says not enough.
Not enough. And it says shum hashmod. That's what he says. It says by a natural cooking and a natural fire has meaning. But here, since the steam goes back, it doesn't change his measurement because it's close to. So Imele, well, there's no change of taste, no change of volume. So he didn't get the goal of the beginning of the process of what? Yeah, beginning, but no change. But Rabbi Ovadia Yosef argues on him by saying, you know what happened in pasteurization? It goes out and comes back. So it was cooked and then went back. What happened? If I cooked wine, then you fixed it. but it's cooked wine. That's not so simple because we had Avnei talks about if you have cooked wine by tzinukim, by raisins, and you fix it afterwards, it's considered cooking or not. That's all. Becomes wine by itself later on. So this is anakah. Rabbi Avodah Yosef, not so simple as true. And we have cooked wine, I fixed it, is considered already cooked, it's out of the box.
It never goes away.
It never goes away. But that's a shaila, not such a clear svara to me. But what is clear svara to me, that people do value that change, and I don't have to define reticha means yatzolet, but a stool pasteurization is considered reticha, because it does the results. The point of reticha is the results, now not results of changing of taste. It's only some change or beginning of some change. That's all I need. I don't even actually recognizing the taste. But the beginning starts, it's enough. Starts changes. That's a kabbalah to go.
What do you think the God doesn't know about his...
We didn't look. That's the next point. Next point he says a couple other points here. Go through them. It says, he brings down many Rishonim that says you need a change of taste, smell, or color. So according to those Rishonim, he says, this is the next page, in the black letters, he says, after he brings some Rishonim, it says you need change of taste. And he calls them mashma. From all this you can infer. That when you cook the wine, there's a clear change. Upashtu, Babasa says you have to say pshako. Upashtu is like the bishul shel pistul shabi muto litroim mevushal Hashem mevushal vegamuto levash lechatchila. Then she says, if I take Pachar wine of shvis, which I'm not allowed to destroy, I'm not allowed to cook wine of shvis of tum because I'm destroying it. If I pasteurize it, it says valid, I need to destroy it.
But
it's not destroying because the pasteurization is only kills the only kills the germs, but not anymore.
What about the evaporation? You're losing it. You're not allowed to use
it says like this. Normal cooked wine, according to a lot of these Rishonim, you have to recognize the difference. And according to those Rishonim, vadai, pasteurization, there's no recognition, and therefore it's only to kill the germs. And therefore, I'm allowed to take truma, wine of shvis, and pasteurize it, not consider I destroy it. Because the taste stays. That's a good point, because by truma, I definitely need change of taste. By shvis, the destruction is I need a change of taste.
Yes,
but by yayin it's a machlokes. Do I need change of taste? Or the beginning of the product, change of taste? And what's the halachah? You don't need change of taste. The beginning. Remember, pasteurization, the reference to la halakha, reference to stam yaino, the magagoy is not considered anymore, it's considered cooked. And not only that, it is a value chain, and it is a recognized change for a lot of people, and people want money for it. And Israel becoming a rich country, and there's a lot of yayin meshubach, a lot of good, valued wine. Not like years ago, today you can find 100 boutique yayin and they don't cook the wine and then people pay money for it because they value it. Not only even that monahad. This is the first part of the the next part. Yes,
because today everything is buying. You don't do cooking today, and they do it for you. So everything when you get there, everything is in paper. Everything is like written down.
Right.
This, everything before you start, you already know what is it. Yes. You know, this is already cooked. She already be cold already knows cooked already. Good, she made it, so it's called cooked. It's very erchibas. Okay,
that's the next part. We didn't learn it yet. That's the next part of the Shlem. I'm going to go into this right now. But I would summarize the first part of Shlem Zalman. The first one is 2 points. What's the level of heat we're talking about? It's cooking. She learns Yatzoledes. Number 2 was going to Vilna. Now what is it? Good wine? Good. What? Yayin Mevushal. Yeah, you keep a fellow for something. You keep a fellow. Number two, he's saying, second point he's saying, that there's a change, there's no change of taste and value. These are two points he made what he said. Now, and then he says steers, and then he's showing me basically between Yayin Nesech HaMizbeach and Yayin Nesech, Yayin Nisuch HaMizbeach and Nisuch HaKohen. That's it until actually Kohen. The next part, yes, Rebbe Shmuel. Right.
Some things, it doesn't make a
Right.
why you want a natural taste.
Right.
Like you said, you can discern, you can tell. whether
Sure.
Experts can tell.
you taste
Sure.
the taste.
You pay for it, sure. Right. You pay for it. There's a mode, different mode. Even if I don't feel the taste, it's healthier. I've been that only drink, not cooking. Of course, I now already feel a difference, but I was searching for a long time because it's healthier. Cooked wine, cooked red wine doesn't do the job of killing the chitzun of the blood that they have that brings you cholesterol. The natural wine kills the cholesterol, right? If you cook it, it destroys the parts that kills the cholesterol. So who wants to drink the wine? You drink for mitzvah, drink just for these. You want to drink wine, you want to get healthier from it. Even doctors tell you to buy, when you get older, you have to drink every day 1 cup of wine, they tell you. And the smoke is because it has those exodynes, exodentim to kill the chitzun of the fat in your blood and become healthier.
Yeah, I hold by that.
Me too.
Good for the sale.
But 1 cup a day.
Good for the advertisement.
What?
Good for the advertisement.
Yeah. But that's what they say. I don't know the reality, but that's what they say.
Nobody buys.
So when people buy it, so people value it as chashivos. Even if there's no change of taste. People buy it because chashivos of health. Number two, there's a difference in taste.
That's what the Baki says. The Baki wine, he says that they can notice and tell the difference in the essences and it tastes like a cook. Tastes like cook.
Right? You can taste it.
Cook taste.
Yes. Okay. Now we're going to talk about the second part of Yom Mizal.
But cheap wine is not cooked.
Second part, yes. The second part is what was exactly the gzeira, and does the Kohen know about it or not? Those are the 2 points that I'm showing Mizal to finish with it. Yes, what do you want to say?
You already told us story about his father. He used to take a little
Schnapps. Yes.
Every day I remember that. Every day.
Oh, my grandfather.
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I remember. He said,
There was a certain period of time for he wasn't taking that with the drink.
And
So I think maybe was jailed and figured out because in those days they didn't have much schnapps, but you buy American schnapps, and just that difference makes a difference.
he's not the same taste. He stopped drinking. Okay, that's a schnapps.
in America, it's the
Good. Let's go back to us. This is the 3rd paragraph on the 2nd page. This is very important because on this, the main weight of Aval Yashiv is not on the first part we mentioned. Because the Machlokes is showing, do I need a change of taste or not? His main weight is that it's common. And when it's a common, it's the choiro, according to the Rosh Yeshiva. The question is not gzeira or not. This is really the main point. And halachah, Avodah Yashiv hold that pasteurization is not. Shlomo Zalman and Avodah Yashiv both hold that pasteurized wine is considered not cooked, and if it really touches us. What they based the main weight of Avodah Yashiv is the next part. He's saying like this: when the rabbi said wine is also b'stam yeinom, and Yayin Mevushal is mutar. They talked about natural cooked wine, but they didn't have in those days Passoros wine. It didn't exist. So the question is, now that it exists and we have the technology to go very high, very low quickly, short period of time, close tubes, and go very high and heat, very low and heat quickly, just to kill the germs and do it exact, not destroying, not enough time to destroy the sugar and other things. Since it didn't exist, the question is, now that I say it's also, if it's considered cooked, and now I say it's also because the heat is there, do I make it a mugzeh or not?
I thought we can't make new there.
Can I make mugzeh? The question is not considered a new decree or not. So he says like this. There's a svara like There's a svara to say that when the thing didn't exist, it's not mugzeh. But really, it's a hakira. When they said, all wine is also, they also said, Yayin Mevushal is mutar, or Yayin Mevushal Mimelo is mutar because wine wasn't around. It's not common.
Not wine.
It's part of, they made two decrees. Wine is also, and they made a decree, Yayin Mevushal is mutar. It's part of the statement, part of the gzeira, or it's a Mimelo out. That's one shayla, one hakira. Second hakira, the Yayin Mevushal of pasteurization didn't exist those days. So I want to prohibit something new. It was part of the permission, and now I want to prohibit means it's something new, nuxera. What is it? So he brings two rayas, listen carefully. They bring two rayas, very, very nice rayas. Two rayot that is not considered exer chadosh, and they knock it out. They knock those rayas out. What are the two cases? We have one case in Maseches Baba Batra, the Fayomi. It says that you're not allowed to do atmana by stones of slaying that take fire. The rabbis permitted to do atmana, Erev Shabbos, with stones, with slaying that take fire out.
Daf Yomi mistake tzarzman.
Yeah, Daf Yutet. And we learned there that Chachom were matir to do atmana by slaim, even though they're moisim edel, because they're not common. The people since Rosh Yeshiva, the rabbis didn't make a gzeira to do atmana and moisim edel of slaim, of rocks, because not common to do atmana because it breaks the vessels of clay, etc. But Toisa says in our days, in Toisa's days in France, people do atmana with stones, what type of stones? They're not afraid, or because the clay is stronger, richer, they don't care, they do. It may, although it's common, but we cannot make a new gzeira to prohibit it. Since the rabbi permitted it, we cannot make now a new prohibition. One story. Second story is, we know if a woman finds at the time that she's permitted, she's naki, she's the whole. She finds on her clothes a keten, a stain. So if it's less than the grease, less than the measurement of grease is, they say nickel, I don't know in English. How do you say that? The five. You have nickel, dime, how do you say that?
5 cents.
5 cents. How do you call it in English?
Nickel.
If it's less than a nickel, that's what?
It's a dime.
A dime.
A dime is small. But in Greece it's a dime.
What is a dime in English? Yeah, how many cents is that?
10 cents, but it's smaller than
And it's smaller than a dime. Okay, less than a dime. Less than a dime. So then it's mutar. Why? That's the point. Why? Because in the time of the Gemara, a lot of bugs and flies, you go kill like this. They had a stain of blood less than a dime. Less than a dime. Less than a dime. But he says that all the Chachomim said in the last 1,000 years, 800 years, who knows what. When you kill a fly or something, you don't get a stain of less than a grease of blood. You have to kill many of them. And not only that, only black stuff comes out. Not even, when we talk about the gross part, but you don't see belly blood. Doesn't exist almost. So there's no point to toilet through a macholes. Macholes even macholes is least, less. Louse. One louse. It's so small. You don't create any blood from it. It's a sin, so it doesn't not reality. So there's no point of permitting it. The whole reason why the rabbis permitted blood pektomi less than the grease because we toilet by macholes, but there's no macholes to it that will produce that blood. So you made a should prohibit. No, we cannot make a nukzei chadosha to prohibit. So also pasteurized, although the wine now is common, we cannot prohibit it. Since the rabbis permitted Yayin Mevushal, and it reached the criteria of heat of Mevushal, although it didn't exist then, and now it's common, I can't say because it's common, let it be prohibited. So I cannot do a nukzei chadosha. When the right permitted is permitted. This is what a lot of rabbis wanted to say. But he says he wants to knock it out. He says those 2 points are not nogeya. Why? Because he wants to say pasteurization didn't exist then and now changed. Slime exists then, now people now use it. Ktamim was then, now people don't have, now we don't have all those macholes. Here, this bishul, this cooking never existed. Only now they recreated it through technology, new cook of pasteurization. So therefore it's not nukzei chadosha, not part of the nukzei chadosha. Because since they never mati only bishul, all around us also. Bishul was out of the gzeira. And this is something new, so I'm not putting back in and never went out. Because it never exists. Since it never exists, never went out, I want to bring back in. Never went out, but it never existed. This is what he says. What? So it's not part of it. Mimele wants to say, it's not saying chadosha, and therefore should be part of stam yainam. This is the main reason. Why HaRav Elyashiv wants to say since it's common, according to the Rosh, it's not common, it's common today. And it's not considered gzeira chadosha because it will never exist. This is the final end of the HaRav Elyashiv. Yes, that's the major problem why pasteurized wine should be also. Because it never exists. Wait a second. If I went to Costco in the time of the Gemara, in Peru, will I have in this volume of eat, if I closed it, let's say it's not common, but I have a closed pot, and I have a wine in it, and I go to a high mountain, and I have time like more, I will have pasteurization. It's not a new technology that didn't exist. The technology is to live in Babylon or in Paris. Louis Pasteur in Paris needs to produce what is in Costco. But in Costco, in the time of the Gemara, you couldn't get pasteurization the same. If you have a closed pot with water, with oil, in the same level of heat, you'll get to that. But they don't have the cooling system. That's how heated on 70 and 63 degrees in Costco. They do have pasteurization for 30 minutes.
It's bishul.
What? But I don't have the cooling system after 30 minutes to cool it. Put it back in. What?
Ice.
They did put ice.
Put it in the bowl.
So it's bishul. It's
Good.
like bishul, regular bishul.
The point is, it was not common, but it exists in the world. So to say, I'm saying it's small, I'm not so short to say it never exists. You only say since it didn't exist where the Jewish people lived. Although in mountains, whatever, people lived in Jerusalem, people lived in Babylon, people lived in Turkey mountains, or those in all those countries where high mountains. They exist no mountains. So Mimele, they had the level of pasteurization, not level of heat. And they had, but they lost the value. Unless they closed it. They closed pot. The value didn't run away, it stayed inside. And they had closed pots at those days. But they didn't have the reducing of the heat so quickly. Depends how heat I had, what heat I have. And depends how quick, if after 25 minutes, I stop putting the heat, and the heat will continue for another 5 minutes, because of the metal will heat it. And after 30 minutes, I can even then have a measurement. Let's say, today, if I heat it to 30 minutes, I cannot reduce after 30 minutes the heat, right? But if in those days I heated only 20 minutes, the heat will go on, of course, the power, but after 30 minutes, I don't know the reality. I'm not a physician and chemist, chemikai can tell you the differences. I don't know. But part of, definitely a big part of the concept of personalization exists in those days.
But Rav Shlomo Zalman said,
And therefore you can't say it didn't exist as Alexander Chadosh. To oyster personalization, to say it's also Yayin Mevushal Alexander Chadosh.
But in the stage really was there.
It was there, and it wasn't the full technology.
Melis mutors.
Melis mutors, considered bishul.
but Rav Shlomo Zalman, when he said before, הוא כמובן שבגלל זה תם היין משתנה in those days.
Yes.
So it's in Cusco also when you click, you do just for a few seconds, the תם היין משתנה or לא? Also.
I don't think so. I think even in Costco, no. Even in Costco, you put certain heat, you have to have a period of time that the heat is on. After you have 50% alcohol, to go to 14%, if you go 50% point, 14.99999, no change. I'm talking about there has to be some change of taste, there has to be some period of time. So good. In Costco, I don't need such a long period of time to produce that. Like I don't need, like the same in the valley of Lima, the valley of Babylonian Valley. So I'm saying is, those type of the fundamental points of pasteurization exist in the time of the Gemara. That's number one. But although you would say, okay, but not nogea to normal people, it's not nogea to where most of the issue of the Jewish people was in the valley, or in Yerushalayim, the mountain, which is only 1,000 meters, up to 1,000 meters, not big differences, maybe 5-6 degrees of Celsius, not big differences, so you can't say, maybe what I'm saying is not true. I don't know the differences between 1 to 1,000, 1 to 2,000 high, 1 to 3,000 meters high. The Caucasian Jews, the Gruzinian Jews, live in the high mountains, 5,000 meters. I don't know the differences.
Yayin מתאדה.
PV equal, and what do you say?
Pressure volley equals constant times R is another.
So how much would be the difference in
They have a
yeah, but I know that. I don't know the formula.
But the yayin
I don't know.
wine
But
evaporates.
they didn't have the way of cooling it quickly.
Maybe it's
Water.
Ice, no.
Ice, maybe ice.
Wine evaporates and goes
But they didn't know that idea that would do so. So it didn't exist. It really didn't exist. Since they didn't know this technology, know this idea, but the koyak exists. That's what I'm saying. The koyak exists.
wine.
So maybe it's not but not a strong straw. That's not a strong straw. This straw is definitely strong. What do you want to say? Yes.
The wine evaporates and goes on.
Yes, much quicker.
So it says that ולכן אין דרך הנוחם לנסח ביין כזה. They don't do this.
I'm saying no, they won't do this. Yes.
Okay. So it's not the new Gezegas.
It's not the new Gezegas. It's cooking, depends on the whole personalization is to create a reality of an Everest mountain here in Jerusalem. That's all it is. That's the technology. But they exist in the evidence, even though it's not new. The only new thing is new to reduce the heat very quickly. So he said you could put so since Bekoyak exists, you cannot, although people don't do it, it's like the stones, the fire stones. They after a while they had strong pots. So they can't use fire, but it means why they had strong pots? stronger land. They found technology with the mix with the clay, so that strong parts, whatever it was. So you can't say what they say. It's Gzeira Chadasha. We say not Gzeira Chadasha. So we say no. We say Gzeira Chadasha. If you're going to prohibit it, it's a new Gzeira. Since the rabbis permit to do a tmana with those stones, because not common to do a tmana, even though now it's common. Why it's common? Because the clay, the parts are stronger. Why the parts are stronger? Because they found new technical way to do it stronger, or the land is stronger, or the mix with the chomarines are stronger. So wait a minute, the klali change. Those type of clay didn't exist then. So now and what we say, what the Tosha says, that although now it's very common, it's still permitted, because I'm going to prohibit it. I mean, so not true, not that it doesn't exist. Those type of clay doesn't exist.
Yeah, but then you want to prohibit. Here you want to permit.
We don't say that. Wait a second. Now there's no flies. There's no lice. There's no lice.
You're talking about here. You're talking about last summer.
Yeah, there's another big difference.
No.
In the start you want to prohibit. You want to prohibit.
One second. There we say atmon is mutar. The rabbi said you're allowed to do atmon. The rabbi said listen, the klis is mutar.
And you don't prohibit.
1 second. And we don't permit it. I want to say now, since a change now, let's prohibit it. Like here, wine that is cooked is permitted. I want to say because of change, Pastor, as it change, I want to prohibit it. Same thing. I can't prohibit it. Similar. I can't prohibit it. There's a Gzeira Chadasha. So what is he saying? No, it never existed then. No, it did exist. And the high mountain exists. Maybe the full details of technology, or to go to a low place, to make our high place didn't exist. And the high place exists. So it's not something new. So you made it to prohibit it. It's like, you can say, they didn't have clay, strong clay in those days, but now in Europe they have strong clay vessels. Okay? New technology change, it never existed. No, even then they had strong clays in certain areas. And normal clay was not strong. In Europe, 1,000 years later, normal clay was strong. So it was common to do. So why normal thing was changing, new technology? No, new place. Even then, in the high mountains, we were able to produce evaporation at a very low temperature. And if you would stop right then, it would be considered cooked at much lower heat.
It's still a swore to say that.
And 1 second, and if I would produce, you know what I want to say?
It's still a swore to say that the potential could have been existed possibility.
I know. It's a sword, not a strong sword. I'm just saying the sword went to my mind, not a strong sword, because Lemaisa didn't exist. Lemaisa didn't exist, and by clay, maybe they had those days strong clay and low clay. But most clays were not allowed. And now they found they use a stronger land. So he says that he's saying to prohibit it as Gzeira Chadasha. But here it didn't exist bichlal. This process didn't exist potential, but this process to do in a low place, a high, to reduce the heat very quickly, the whole process as a complete process, they didn't have at all. It's something new. And Imele, since Mevushal is permitted, but this not Mevushal didn't exist, so to prohibit it is not Gzeira Chadasha. It's part of the Isuk, since it's common to be also. Yes. So L'choira, this svara of Rav Elyashiv and Rav Shlomo Zalman, L'choira is the strongest svara than our svara now. L'choira, because of that, you should prohibit stam yayin of pasteurized, because it's common today, and that cookie never existed. And since that cook never existed, so therefore, the choyo should be also, since there's a taste of wine, going by this is a chash.
Right.
And it's not Gzeira Chadasha because it never exists, so therefore I should prohibit it. So we say the taste, there's a difference in taste. I don't need taste. Only someone showing me taste, and it should be the process of changing of taste. But I have the beginner process. Even though it never exists, I don't care, but it's part of changing of taste. No be enough kamina. So the only meal to remove this point is you say this changes in its value.
I want to say more. I want to say more. I want to today, what you want to say, Josh, is not common.
Yes.
It's not common with more not common. Because no one cooks in the house today. The smell is out.
But the only cooking we have is cooking in pasteurization companies. That's called cook?
No, but you don't do it today. You buy it. You go to the store, you don't buy
So
it.
so.
So the main is, what is the smell of zero benasayim that maybe you cook, like the maybe you go and cook it, and you put it maybe to go.
And nobody does it. Today, nobody can do it.
No one does it bechad today. Because no one cooks bechad today. So Adagab is even less motzui. Even Adagab, less motzui, less common, and Adagab.
It doesn't matter, but if it's common to buy it,
no, but
as in the store it's common. One second.
We don't
If
go
the
to
store is
We
common,
don't go
you
to
marry the daughter because you can sit and drink with them.
No.
It's common.
No, we don't go to results. Wait a second. We don't go to results.
It was saying, let's say, one second.
We don't go to results.
Let's say, no, what the Prophet said? The Prophet says, a person will find a way to bypass Stam Yevon. He has a Jewish friend, a non-Jewish friend, wants to drink with him. Now, but how can I drink wine with my non-Jewish friends, family, friends? What do I do? Very simple. You cook your wine. So he said, we don't worry for that. We don't worry that people still marry their daughters and they'll find a way by permitting Yayin Mevushal. I'm not worried that the Bnei Slave still exists. Why? Because they're big ticha. Comes to the Shlit and says, but today I don't need to cook my wine. I can just buy wine cooked. I don't need the ticha. Nobody cooks in their home.
So it's a bigger reason to can be gozer.
What?
It's a big reason to be gozer.
To be gozer.
No, I said
It's a big, your soul is out, is helping Yashi, and there's no desire. It's a bigger reason to prohibit.
It's not a ticha.
What? It's not a ticha. Since it's not a ticha, it's not my word, just it's not since it's not a ticha, it's easy to get, just buy it, money, and even cheaper. Cheaper than cook wine. So Alarab is easier to get.
Buying is a bigger ticha.
No, buying is not
Buying is a bigger ticha. You have to spend money
all
to
your
buy.
food you buy. You have to buy. It's natural, you can order. You call super salad, you can order. Just pay the money. Just pay the money.
Ask Rabbi Zach.
Yes.
Ask Rabbi Zach, is it easier to buy wine or to make wine?
We'll tell you about it, easy to make than to buy.
To buy.
Easier.
Easier to buy.
No. The point is, it's more of a sword to prohibit. So the mice, I would say, it's already late today. I thought it would be much more. I wanted to do more. But we did the main swords. So the Choyva, this last swords of Rabbi Yashin,
Can we drink pasteurized wine?
I think yes.
With the klali?
No, I'll permit. If you ask me to permit, yes. Why?
Yeah.
I'll tell you why. You know why? I'm the Amaretz. It's machloket in the Rabbanon. It's Vada Muto. That's the number one. But I have to. But as long as I found the truth of the Svaras Adoro, there's a very strong Svar, not as like the Chumris. It's a Chumris. They're Makri. Don't.
We have the grua, you have that, and then.
Yeah, Email mostly showing the whole town. Email and it's cooked. It's common. First, it's not so common. You say it's common, not so common. It's not true. It's not so common. It's common enough, but it's not so common to find pasteurized wine. In Israel, in religious places, yes. When you go to Chutz La'aretz, very hard to find cooked wine, especially in Yamin. There's only people do it because of religion.
You go to the
Hasidic religion, but a normal wine is not like that. Number one, and number two has value. That's value. So my svori is like this. It's a machloikes, and therefore la we should permit machloikes. And since those don't hold it's permitted, it's not.
Is this all a din Rabbanan?
Yes, only the Rabbanon. Only the Rabbanon. So it's only din the Rabbanon, and there's a strong story to say that there's a difference in taste. There's a strong story to say that it's considered cooked on fire because it's boiled. Elamai saying if it exists, not so single that it exists, part of the technology, part of the idea in essence exists. And even if it didn't exist, as long as cooked lemaise, even now they invented new cooking. Let's say there's a microwave cooking, and then it exists to cook through a microwave. If I cook wine with a microwave, if I cook wine with a laser, if I cook wine with infrared light, whatever those type of lights are cooked. Like today, they started to cook coffee beans, and they say it's all green, all ideas, but it's cooked. Chachomim, this is one point. Chachomim followed the heat or they follow the results?
Yeah, but
The results. Since microwave produce the results, since laser produce the results, since pasteurization produce the results of what? Of heat, of cooking, of beginning of process changing of the value chain, taste.
The post can bring down that if you can do it with a Shabbos like etc. and cook your food on Shabbos in the microwave, that's not called bishul.
Again.
You look at the post-it. You hook up a microwave and you have your food in there with a Shabbos like or whatever, and you cook it on Shabbos. It's not called cooking, even though it comes out cooked. It's not.
One second. The person who said, if I press the button for the microwave, is it not a mice cooking?
No, I have a Shabbos.
What kind of mice is it?
I have a Shabbos.
A Shabbos clock
The
is
Shabbos
not
clock,
you.
I'm just want to say, the Rosh Yeshiva said microwave. So I have the grow. Microwave in the postman is not called cooking. It's not called bishul.
Why?
It looks like bishul and like.
Why not?
Because it's not called.
It's not the original.
Heat.
It's not heat.
There's no heat.
It's like
All the boys came home.
I don't know.
HaRav Yitzchak.
Me too.
HaRav Yitzchak.
I'm not.
No, what I'm saying is, I don't know. He said, I don't know the items, I don't know the information. But if he asks me, Misvara, he says, Chacham talk about result, Yatzoledes bo, who produce Yatzoledes, Chacham didn't talk about Celsius. And Chacham didn't talk about heat, they talk about Celsius, or they talk about food back up in those soil.
That's why it gets.
They talk about results of eating, of the hand jumps back. Because in those days they didn't have, one second, in those days they didn't have measurements of Celsius, they had measurements of results.
No, but not by order. Not results.
Why not?
It's temperature.
Not true.
Not result.
I'm answering you. When I cook water,
and cooked water tastes different.
No. You talk about the heat. That's the point.
I'm talking about heat. I'm not talking about.
So now, water. When I eat water at 45 degrees, is considered cooking, right? Yatzoledes. They jumps.
It cooled down now. It went to 45 and it cooled down. And I have water that never got cooked.
Yes. Okay. There's no problem. Bishul. And one is no change.
No. It tastes the same.
I know, because by water is not changing of the thing itself,
Right.
it's the heat.
It's the
when
heat.
water contains heat inside as value, it's considered cooking. That's the point. That's the whole point we're saying. Wine by Ainestic, I need the heat to go in, or I need the results of taste of change or evaporation. That's our order. And we said, Machlokes HaPoskim. Not that if I need heat, like Shabbos, or I need change of texture. I'm saying everybody learns change of texture. You need the end result or the beginning of the process. That's why I learned.
A little doing.
The little heat doing it, or I need the end of heat. But no one would say that's the heat of Shabbos. It wasn't a McCoy, it was only sinastada in the beginning process. That's what we learned last week. So that's why that's one of the fundamental points we argue on the understanding. But and then I said there is some beginning of there is a change of taste, and there's a beginning of changing of taste. But microwave, that's the point. Microwave by Shabbos, by water, the bishul of water is the heat that contains in the water. When I was able to attach heat into the water, that's considered cooking. So if I have microwave and I say heat in there, it's a cooked water. It's a hot water is considered cooking. Because the value of the cooking by water is not that I change the water. It's that the water has hot, that the heat is in the water, that's the cooking. Understand? That's cooked. So that's I don't know your spot. You told me everybody holds it, I don't know.
So it's
Okay, time is a machloek, it's a poskim, and I won't be on my to say machloek.
in the important why the main thing is the result, because there's no Yayin.
Because Chachomim gave us, by Shabbos, Chachomim gave us only, in the olden days, they couldn't give us only measurements of results.
But why, for example,
recognized results.
today they cultivate the animals. They do new cells and they create an animal and the bracha is hakol. There is not dairy and meat.
I don't know. You told me already results. You told me you are local. I don't know that local.
It's not considered
It's still not clear by the rabbis. All those new fish, it's not a fish. And new meat was not a meat. That are made out of cells and redos out. How do you define it? You follow what beginning starts when you multiply from the real meat. What happened in the soy is not. No. There's a lot of slogans back and forth. Let the place can make a decision. When we talk about Yayin Nesek, Tam Yainov, Pasharas wine, Machlekes a place gives the Rabbanan is muto. And we proved here that the opinion of the whole starting by this cooking, not out of the blue, not out of the box. It's very strong what to stand on, and therefore it's muto.